Now back to our top story. SAPS Head of Legal Services, Major General Marga van Rooyen, has concluded day one of her testimony before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria. She confirmed that suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu had no legal power to disband the political killings task team. Let's unpack this with Professor Nirmala Gopal from the Department of Criminology at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Prof, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And I think, if anything that came out of today's testimony from the SAPS legal head is the question whether there was any encroachment, interference, or this was legally allowed.
So good afternoon, Masa. Good afternoon to your viewers. Of course, I think what Van Rooyen has actually done is corroborated the evidence of both General Commissioner Mkhwanazi as well as National Commissioner Fannie Masemola. So definitely there was encroachment, and as well as the fact that, it might have been unlawful. And I think what they've done, again, they've just corroborated that for us.
Where does that leave? I mean, for sure, the Minister, Senzo Mchunu, will also appear before the Commission. But where does that leave any room for kind of movement to justify that 31st of December letter? Because even if, like we heard from the National Police Commissioner yesterday, who said that he had heard from the minister that he'd gotten the green light from the president, even though when he brought it up to the president seemed taken aback by it. Where does that leave for you? An explanation from the Minister Senzo Mchunu.
Yes, I think it's going to be a very interesting space when Minister Mchunu takes the stand, because I think what we're looking out for is to hear him actually defend that particular decision. And also the fact that we're hearing ambiguous, we're receiving ambiguous responses in terms of whether the president was aware, was unaware, etc. I think that's also quite, it's going to be quite a space that we all need to look out for. However, having said that, Masa, I think it's important for us to understand the fact that even the president should not actually be reaching into spaces or making decisions in spaces that he does not have the mandate for. In as much as we know that he is the president of the country, but making decisions that are not in the best interest of the country, encroaching into portfolios that don't belong to him, would actually be quite problematic and a huge risk to the country.
What do you make, Prof, of those who say, in a certain aspect, to a certain degree, the National Police Commissioner, Fannie Masemola, almost went with this illegal instruction that he got, even though on the side he did continue with the works of the political killings task team, but in a way of suggesting the winding down and all of that, that immediately once he got that letter, that should have been the red flag, and that should have been him raving that red flag to just say that this cannot be done at all. Or he actually went about it the best way he could under the environment if there is actual political interference.
Yes, I think that's very interesting. But by his own admission, he did say for him, he was worried about the fact that it would be a career-limiting move if he had to go ahead, if he had to challenge the minister on the fact that it was not his decision to make. So it makes one wonder, why would he accept that the letter, but in the same breath continue with what he believed was the right thing to do, and which was not to disband the PKTT. So I think it does leave lots for us, lots to be desired in terms of why are we allowing this kind of behavior, and why do we believe that this kind of behavior or tasks or replicating, etc., is acceptable. And I think we need to get to the bottom of that. Yes, we understand that he might have been afraid of reprisal, that there could have been, he could have been charged with insubordination, etc. But I think if you have an objective chairperson and panel who would discipline him in the event of insubordination, if they are objective, then I don't think that he should have been worried in the first place at all. So it does leave much to be desired, I must admit.
You know, the Commission is also probing allegations of criminal infiltration within the SAPS, as we know. What safeguards, Prof, are there to prevent political interference in our law enforcement? And if they are they sufficient?
So, Masa, in all probability, the safeguards are there. It could probably be an implementation issue, and the implementers are not implementing for various reasons. So, in some ways, it could have, the space could have become quite incestuous in terms of the fact that we are protecting each other, etc. But in all probability, those safeguards are there. But we've allowed them to be infiltrated by politicians.
Allowed them. Prof, always good to hear your insights. Really appreciate your time. That was, of course, Professor Nirmala Gopal from the Department of Criminology at the University of KwaZulu-Natal.